Hey Boomer, are you getting a divorce? Today we're going to talk about the top 4 issues relating to older couples in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and even in their 90s when they get divorced. Welcome back to the Divorce Broadcast channel. My name is Manny Segarra, coming to you from Miami, Florida. It used to be, back in the day, that when a couple was married 40, 50, 60 years, they used to kind of stick it out until the bitter end. Despite the fact that they couldn't stand each other, they didn't sleep in the same bedroom, they never ate dinner together, they hardly communicated with each other, and just spoke to each other during holidays or family events, they stuck it out, either because of religious reasons, cultural reasons, or someone perhaps had an illness. But things have changed. Recently, there has been an uptick in the amount of older couples in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s who have been filing for divorce. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite clients of all time was a gentleman who was divorced. We filed for his divorce when he was 92. He was a veteran of the United States military. He served in World War II, landed on the beaches in Normandy, and came back to the mainland a decorated hero. He got married for the first time, had a beautiful family, and unfortunately his first wife passed away. He met his second wife, who was significantly younger than he was, and he had to file for divorce. So at about age 92, he filed for divorce. We quickly were able to divide what little marital assets there were. And when we went to court that day, I think he was 93 years old. And I remember that after the judge divorced him, he was chatting it up with everybody in the courtroom. He ended up flirting with one of the corrections officers. And then the last time I saw him, he was telling everybody how he was now single and ready to mingle. So I think this is starting to happen because the whole eat, pray, love thing is a real thing. I think that these older couples, sometimes as you get older in life, you just want to be happy. They want to spend those last couple years of their golden years in a better place. They want to live their best life. I actually recently had a lovely couple, both of them in their 80s, who wanted to get married. They were in my office trying to sign a prenup so that they could get married. So it's a thing. Everybody's got to live their best life. So the 4 issues that these couples should be thinking about. The first one is mental capacity. If it is determined that one of the spouses does not have the mental capacity necessary to get divorced, it could delay the proceedings. Each jurisdiction is different. You should check the statutes and law of your particular jurisdiction. In Florida, one of the 2 grounds for a divorce is mental incapacity. And in Florida, if it is found that one of the spouses is mentally incapacitated, it will definitely delay the divorce proceedings, oftentimes for several years. It's at least a 3-year delay in Florida if one spouse is mentally incapacitated. Number 2, the financial security of both spouses. This is also very important. It is important that both spouses are aware of what the financial resources are of the marital estate. Oftentimes, one spouse may have been a homemaker and raised the children, and the other spouse was the income earner, was in the workforce, and was the breadwinner. It's important that both are aware of the marital assets and liabilities. It's also important that if there are any adult children with special needs, that they're taken care of. A lot of times child support is not an issue for these older couples, but the security of each couple is. One of the nuanced issues is alimony. Usually at this stage in life, these older couples are either both retired or one of them is retired. So if they're both retired, alimony may not be an issue. However, if the spouse, one of these spouses is still working, still employed, has their own business, is in a professional service, has a part-time job, then alimony may be an issue. So it's something that needs to be thought about and contemplated in each particular case. Additionally, the retirement accounts. Is there an IRA? Is there a 401k? Is there a pension? Are there some stock accounts? A lot of times, if there are retirement accounts, the court will enter what's called a qualified domestic relations order. The acronym is a quadro, QDRO. The quadro essentially serves as an order for the division of the retirement accounts. So if there's a marital component to the pension, the court will enter a quadro and the pension will be divided accordingly. The third topic that comes up is housing arrangements. Where are each of these older spouses going to live? Is someone going to get the marital residence? Is someone going to get one of the rental properties? Is there a new home that's going to be purchased? And regardless of the house that the spouse is going to live in, is there going to have to be some sort of ADA accommodations done on that residence? In other words, modifications for wheelchair use. Will there have to be ramps installed? Will the doorways have to be expanded? Will there be a special bed that's needed? Perhaps a Hoyer lift? These are things that need to be considered. The other consideration could be that perhaps a family member will allow the older spouse to now live with them, which should be contemplated when budgeting the finances for this older couple. The last issue that has to be thought about with older couples is long-term care. The cost of long-term care in this country has skyrocketed. Reports indicate that the cost of long-term care per day could be as much as $900. It could cost several thousands of dollars a month for someone to get long-term care in some of these facilities. So it's important to think about that. Is there going to be an adult living, assisted living facility? Is there going to be perhaps an at-home care? Will one of the spouses have to be in a nursing home facility? These are all issues that need to be contemplated at the time of this divorce. In addition to that, the medical insurance. We got to make sure that the medical insurance is in place to cover some of these expenses. So in sum, when these older couples get divorced, we need to think about four very important topics. Number one, whether or not each spouse has the mental capacity to get divorced. If one of the spouses is mentally incapacitated, then the court will delay the proceedings in most jurisdictions. Please check your jurisdiction to be sure what your court would do in that situation. Number two, the financial security. Each spouse needs to be aware of the finances, need to make sure that any alimony that's in play needs to be calculated correctly, and the retirement accounts need to be divided by a quadro. Number three, the housing. Where are they going to live? Is there any accommodations that need to be done? And number four, long-term care. Have we budgeted for at-home care, nursing home facilities, assisted living facilities as well? Remember that each case is different. So if you know one of those older couples in their 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s who is thinking about getting a divorce, have them reach out to us at www.segarralawfirm.com. We have offices in Miami and Orlando. Se habla español. Please do us a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please forward this video to any of those boomers who are looking to eat, pray, and love and start living their best life.